Hello, everyone. In this episode of the Raise podcast, we're joined by Davinia Taylor, the best-selling author, wellness disruptor, and founder of Will Powders. She's known for her raw honesty and revolutionary approach to health, and she's just released her newest book, Future Proof, which we'll be diving into.
Davinia, thank you so much for being here today. For those who don't know who you are, can you tell the listeners a little bit more about you and your journey?
Let's see. So my name is Davinia Taylor, mum of 4 boys. Oldest is 17, awful nightmare. Then 14, awful nightmare. Then I've got the 11-year-old and the 9-year-old who are still in their nice I love you mummy phase. I live up north in Lancashire, in England. And I'm a founder of a company called Will Powders, which I developed when I literally couldn't lose weight because of cravings for sugar. And, well, not just sugar, like bread, really, pastas, the usual cozy food. So, yeah, that's my day to day. I run a company, Will Powders, up there. And otherwise, I sit on Instagram moaning about the shit show that is life that we live in, right?
So you've released your new book, Future Proof. So let's talk about that.
This is Future Proof.
Lovely.
It's like a trilogy of books I did. So the first one was called It's Not a Diet. Then it was Hack Your Hormones, and this is Future Proof. And this is a little bit more like the first one, which is just full of hacks, really, rather than the second book was educational about hormones affecting things from ADHD to menopause to low testosterone. So that was kind of like a bit more of an educational, but this is kind of like great hack. There's just bombs of information that you can implement across the whole family.
Yeah.
So basically it's kind of like to future-proof your future. So we don't all end up in a bloody care home, sat in the corner, urinating ourselves without any memory of our wonderful life, I'm trying to sort of safeguard us from that because we actually forget that that's, the new norm. And we just shut it out. So people like yourselves who are taking responsibility for health and putting like information out there, it's really important, because that for me is purgatory. I'd rather be dead. I don't want to, I want to live for as long as I can, but really well, And so it's about safeguarding that. And also it's for people who are as old as 90. Yeah. They can still change the trajectory of their last few decades on this planet, because we could live to 120 easy peasy, except we don't because chronic disease is everywhere. Medicine's been great at getting rid of infectious disease like tuberculosis, measles, whatever. However, when you look at chronic disease, it has skyrocketed. So we don't live any longer. We just live worse for longer. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think we can easily write off getting older, right? It kind of is like preconceived that we're going to really struggle in the last few years of life, that's a normal thing to do. Do you think it's...
Well, I mean, if you think about
that?
A woman going, like a 35-year-old woman, i.e. me, going to the doctor and saying, I feel really tired, I'm shattered, I'm overweight, I feel sluggish. And he says, well, you're getting older. 35! 35! You know what I mean? And women often get that, well, it's just your age.
Yeah.
You've got no bone density. Well, it's just your age. No, it's not. We have total control over our biochemistry. It's ours to master, And that's what I want to put hope back in your hands with this book. And there's no lecture. It's just bombs of facts that can just change your resilience profile. Yeah. And that's what it's about, being resilient. And I mean, just for bone density in itself, can safeguard you against so much. And you can be in control of it, really late on, like I said, 90 years old plus, can improve their bone density and muscle density in a week. Wow. I know, okay. Right? So think of your elderly parents, or your grandparents. They can do something right now. Because the great thing about our bodies is it's got muscle memory and not just muscle memory, bone memory. So from when you were crawling as a baby, you were building muscles in your shoulders, right? That program in your body, that DNA programming is still there. The software, the hardwire is still hardwired into your body. So you start pushing weights, instantly the body's got the recipe for that, and straight away the muscles come really fast. Wow. Like gaining muscle is so much more encouraging than say losing weight because it's really fast. Your gains can be seen within a week.
Yeah.
And so you get the positive feedback loop really quickly. So we should really encourage people way into their 80s and 90s to be lifting weights in the gym. Or actually, there's a guy I mentioned in the book called Gary Rhodes, not the chef. He's a guy from Leeds whose grandmother had osteoporosis, and he put her on this machine. It's like a bone strong machine. And all you do is you basically hold your, like a static position for as hard as you can with resistance for 5 seconds. And that creates osteoblasts throughout the body, throughout the muscles, throughout the bones. And she went from osteoporosis, and she got her bones back healthy again so she could drive again and then carry on going to bingo.
Wow.
So do you know what I mean?
Wow,
It's the knock-on effects, the lack of
yeah.
isolation. She got her independence back, and then, you know, so she could see her friends without worrying that she was going to, like, I don't know, break her shoulder, break her hip.
And it literally took 5 seconds.
Yeah, it takes 5 seconds over a course of weeks, just statically holding it, this position. It's a really fancy machine. I go into the details, but they've got them all over London, and they should be everywhere, actually. They should be
doctors.
Yeah, exactly. And there's no danger. You know, they're not pumping iron or anything. They're in a static position holding this, and all of a sudden the chemicals, which have been pre-programmed since being a baby, wake up and wallop. You're going to get bone density back and make you more resilient. So you can go and see your friends or not, or just go for a walk, or just, I don't know, go shopping on your own.
Yeah.
Little things that give you independence. And that's what we want, don't we?
100%. So what are the key takeaways that you want for people to take away from your book?
Oh, it's not just in your genes, you know, the whole, oh, well, it's in your genes, diabetes in your genes, you know, osteoporosis in your genes. No, we can hack around that quite easily. Epigenetics is probably more important. It's your lifestyle that can turn genes on and off. So stop that. It's almost a bit gaslighting. Well, it's in your genes. What do you expect? Of course you're going to get breast cancer. See you later. Next. That's the sort of feeling that I get from, you know, a lot of people.
People can use it as an excuse as well. Sometimes,
well, this is it.
Unfortunately, it's not saying they do, and that's not their fault, but people can use things like that.
But also just for you to put the blinkers on, well, you know, my mum had breast cancer, so I'm getting breast cancer, and that's that. And I'll just carry on doing what I'm doing. No, I'm not going to get breast cancer. I refuse to get breast cancer. You know, I am going to have a ketogenic diet, leaning into a ketogenic diet. I am going to reduce my glucose. I am going to exercise. I'm not going to drink alcohol. I'm not going to smoke. No, I don't want to have breast cancer. I'm going to do everything I possibly can to safeguard. And if I do get breast cancer, I'll be damn sure to hack around it while I am having treatment. Yeah. So there's some, I was at a talk the other day in Texas, and there's an amazing oncologist up there called Dr. Naisha Winters. And she was saying people who are going through radiotherapy, if they are given exogenous ketones during therapy, it helps the radiation target the tumor rather than the whole body. So you have less of the side effects, therefore you could take more treatment. And these little like snippets of information are so fabulous because we want to survive. I mean, I'm all for like standard care of cancer treatment, but there's other ways we can tweak it to make it even more effective. You know, I'm not one of these juice diet people at all. You're never going to cure cancer with a load of green juices. Are you hell? No, you need to really think open-mindedly. And there's so many bits of research out there that are really supporting what we've got as standard of care in the UK, in the USA, in all of Europe that can really increase your chances of survival because 50% of the population are going to get it. Yeah. We're doing something wrong. So we need to know how to hack it right at the end, you know?
Well, you experienced that personally, didn't you?
My mum died of breast cancer. Yeah. So she oh gosh, she was only 60. God, so that's another thing. So my great grandmother died when she was in her 90s. My grandmother died when it was coming up for 80. And my mum was 60. I'm like, getting younger and younger. So that means what? Have I got like 5 years left? If I'm looking at my, you know, my familial trajectory. Have I got like 5 years left? I've got 4 boys there. They need the mum. Yeah. They needed the grandmother. Yeah. But, you know, so I'm like, no, I'm going to do everything I can. I'm going to leave no stone unturned. And I think when you look at your own survival, you get a new motivation, you know, and there's so much information. Once you can hyper focus on how am I going to survive my familial sort of like trajectory, like you say, you can get the energy to hyper focus and go, that's not going to work for me. And then you redirect yourself. And
there's so much more knowledge out there, isn't there?
There is so much more knowledge out there. There's so much more than what's in this book, you know, but this is like I'm hoping this is a gateway for people to go, ooh, that makes sense. Yeah. Interesting. Let's take a deep dive. Yeah. And you just never know what you might find. It could save your life. And it could, you know, make your life more enjoyable.
Yeah.
You know, energy, sleep,
And
mobility.
you're delivering it in such a honest and refreshing way. And I think that's what people like about you, isn't it? Because you deliver it in
say it
like
as it
this
is.
no bullshit
Layman's
kind of,
terms.
yeah.
Because we do get there's a lot of fluffiness
There
in the
is,
wellness,
yeah.
isn't there? There's a lot of worthiness
Yeah.
and a lot of, you know,
Yeah.
I've been journaling all day. I'm like, shut up. Shut up. I've been in
That's our
traffic
sorry.
all day.
Literally.
Oh my
We're
gosh.
guilty of that.
Oh my
unhinged,
God, I'm
don't
like,
we?
friggin' heck if I had the time for that. But do you know what? It does actually work, because when I actually first got sober, what I used to have to do is, because I'm an alcoholic as well, for those of you who don't know me, but I've been like 17 years sober. And what in early recovery, they tell you to write down 10 things that you're grateful for and 10 things that have wound you up, right? Resentments. So that is a really powerful tool, journaling. I should do it, but that actually helped my neuroplasticity flip.
It's like
And so
reframe.
it retrained the brain in early recovery. So I used to do that for about a year. And then me being lazy AF, I don't know. But I mean, I never dismissed the idea of journaling. It is a game changer for that neuroplasticity.
Yeah.
And being able to write. Oh my God, we don't write anymore.
No.
I know, it's like your hand hurts a bit when you
Yes. Oh my God, it's like going back to school and said, tell me I can't write. I can't write.
But I still love a to-do list. Like, it's different than typing it on your phone than writing it in an actual
I am
notebook, isn't it?
useless at admin. I can't even write. It gets so scruffy. However, in this book, you want to see the paper everywhere.
Like
It's
everywhere.
chaos.
So what are some of the key habits in Future Proof that you swear by daily?
Well, I mean, overall, generally, not just in this book, but I mean, for me, it's getting outside, getting daylight, no sunglasses on.
Yes.
Absolutely not, because the body needs to know what time of day it is. The information comes from the eyes and the skin. So for me, I get up in the morning, step outside, bearing in mind I live in the north of England, where it is always raining. I still do it. I'll stand out there in a dry robe like a moron.
When you wake up, like in the morning.
Yeah, but I won't do it for long, because remember, it doesn't have to be bright sunlight. The
just
eyes will
natural.
see through. I mean, it's lighting the whole sky. Even through clouds, you've got this amazing amount of information coming from the sun, which tells your body what time of day it is, just through the wavelengths, the blue, the red. It will tell my eyes, okay, it's morning time, boom, boost cortisol, get up, get ready for action, put the kettle on, get the news on, get the kids up, start shouting, bacon and eggs for the boys, and I do them a protein shake, and we're out the door. And I've had like a million coffees. Because I'm ADHD, you see, coffee's really good for me, because it opens up the dopamine receptor in my brain. So I experience dopamine more, which means going outside for me increases dopamine. And the running around increases dopamine, and the caffeine helps me experience dopamine more, because notoriously people with ADHD have low dopamine.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the way to hack around it for me.
Okay.
The caffeine doesn't create dopamine, it helps you experience it.
So that you'd say that's your top habit, is the going outside then?
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely outside. And if I'm being really worthy, I'll take my shoes off and stand in the squelchy
ground,
grass and
okay.
ground. But that's only if I'm really, I mean, like a day like today is really warm in the north. It's lovely. You got green grass and everything, lambs bleating and all that. Normally, 9 times out of 10, it's a swamp.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, forget it. But I tell you what I do have on my bed. I've got a grounding mat.
Okay.
Anyway, so that's plugged
When
into
you
the wall.
sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I should wake up all zen, really, but I don't. I wake up, come on, where's everyone? For God's sake, where's your games kit?
Well, we've got to fight against so much now. I feel like
Oh,
it's
I
all
know.
these things, to me, I believe, are more like essentials for survival.
Yeah.
I honestly feel like I don't know how I'd feel without all these tools now.
Yeah.
No.
That's the difficult thing, isn't it?
No, I'd feel really disjointed.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd feel, actually, if I say have, so like a Chinese takeaway, late night, well, I've not been for a run. I've not even had like a hot magnesium bath or whatever. Or I've not had a cold shower. If I don't do any wellness and I've just like watched shit telly for the day and eaten shit, I feel so hungover.
Yeah.
I get the EBGBs. I get like a creepy
Calm
feeling,
down.
a calm
Yeah.
down feeling. I just feel really flatline,
Yeah.
very bleak.
Yeah.
And I just can't be asked getting up.
Yeah.
No.
And it's
No
like
energy.
a really nasty inner monologue. And I'm like, oh my God, I was like that all the time.
But do you think you're now more sensitive? Because I feel like I'm
Yeah.
so much more sensitive now to
so
food than I
oh
would have
my
been
God,
before.
yeah.
Once you
just
start
wouldn't
taking
do
it out.
either,
No, but
because
if-
you know.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
even if you have anything that's slightly, like my unhealthy would probably be more healthy to most, but anything that wouldn't be in my normal, way of eating, I honestly feel like it just makes me feel like shit now.
I mean, if I do have a takeaway, I can really feel it
Yeah.
for a couple of days. I'm likely to have more junk food.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and I know what it is. It's just addiction. That's all it is. It's,
so true.
Yeah. Garden variety addict. Nothing more, nothing less.
So in your book, you describe the identity loop and how our beliefs keep us stuck. How can we break that cycle?
God, did I say that? That's profound.
Yeah.
God, well, I mean, just a short, sharp shock for me is quite a good one. You know, like if I did have a hangover, or I did have I'm feeling a bit flatline, often when I'm like PMT, or actually day 2 of my cycle, I often have that low down identity feeling about myself. I'll get, I think the best thing for me would be to sweat it out in a sauna. So a level of stress, and then cold. That for me just changes everything instantly, because I know you guys would want a fast hack. For me, changing your body temperature is just the fastest hack there is. Shock to the system. And that's like in my artillery now. If I find myself in some sort of like sluggish, low mood, or something's going on that I'm not vibing with, the best way to get me out myself is that. Or if I do, I'll take myself for a run, and I will do like a 30-second hill sprint or something. It's for me, it's stress gets me out of it. Other people are great. They can journal and calm down and lean into it and just like embrace it and move over it. I have to hit it. And I think that often applies to different strokes for different folks. You know, we are a tribe. We are slightly different. You know, I've got friends in my social circle who are very mumsy, love staying at home, really get that serotonin coziness. For me, it gets me antsy, and I'm like, come on, boys, what are we doing now? Where are we going? Are we going? Yeah, I don't get a cozy sort of positive loop feedback from that. If I'm sat in the house, I'm like, should we do something? Like, yeah, come on, let's go out. You know, my husband will often take the boys to the cricket nets. Now it's summer, or, you know, rugby, or we'll be stood outside in bloody freezing weather watching football. And yeah, I mean, but whatever works for you. But for me, it's a stress factor on my body that changes that negative loop inside me. Right, okay. And I didn't know that way back in the day. Yeah, I didn't know that. I was just like sluggishly, you know, because there was all be kind to yourself, treat yourself and everything. And it was actually not working for me. I was treating myself with like, you know, muffins and, you know, all calmy. And it doesn't work for me. It doesn't push me through. So
yeah, it's like going to the gym for me is the biggest thing and the best thing that I can do just to get out of the headspace that I'm in, and it just switches it up.
You're absolutely right. And music on and sometimes just isolating, you know. Again, I'll probably use caffeine to push me out of it, some nootropics, which is things that will just activate on the brain system and get it firing.
But, it's so interesting hearing you talk, because I gave up coffee for our 100-day challenge.
Oh God, babe.
And I know. I'm like, why? But I kind of felt like I needed to, and it was my nervous system wasn't coping with the kind of like coffee. It would just make me feel really anxious. So I gave it up, and I hated it because I really like coffee. But I actually feel so much better for it. And it's just interesting, isn't it, how you can utilise.
So I noticed that you were drinking matcha tea. Now, I've got a slow comped gene, right?
Okay.
Which causes me massive anxiety because of the quercetin in matcha. No. Yes. I mean, it's and if I didn't know, because like back in maybe 10 years ago when matcha first started coming around, I was drinking tons of it, thinking this is much better than coffee. And I was ramping myself up and wrecking my sleep.
I haven't heard of that.
But serious anxiety with matcha. So I sit well with coffee, but matcha for me is just a no-no.
So what test did you do to find that out?
So I was talking to Gary Brecker, and it's his wife, Sage, who's got that. And you just do a DNA test. You can see your comp gene in the DNA test, COMPT. Yeah, so it's the quercetin in it. Yeah. So if I was to take quercetin, proper EBGBs, proper like fear of God, everyone's looking at me. Like, and some people actually can get suicidal thoughts, and it can last for weeks. So really be careful of green tea. It's not just matcha, it's green tea. Yeah. But it's a quercetin in it. So God, so just be
careful.
Know your DNA. Know your DNA and hack around it. You know.
Yeah, no, I did a test with a company called Stride recently with regards to DNA, and it's just so fascinating, isn't it? All these things that you do without thinking, and then actually it might not be suitable for you. What's suitable for someone else?
Yeah. Exactly. That green tea was killing me. Yeah. I was like,
and just because, and this is a massive problem with social media, is that you hear, you know, that this is good for you, but actually is it what's good for you might not be good for someone else.
Exactly. You know? I mean, I really, when you look at like your ancestral past, there's not a cat in hell's chance, me being Northern British, like probably a bit Viking-y, the last thing we would have been drinking is green tea.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
More like beer.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
which of course I did vibe with a little bit
Yeah,
too much. So that's my
potatoes
problem.
and
Potatoes, beer, like stew.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I mean, DNA is really interesting. But it's great when you, once you know, you go, oh, right.
Yeah.
I bet
it makes
loads of your
sense.
listeners will go, freaking green tea.
Yes,
Yes.
I know.
I hate it, but I was told I had to have it, you know? So yeah.
Yeah.
So you talk about the problems with modern medicine, and what do you believe are the biggest problems?
Oh, well, I mean, obviously we've got chronic disease that's overtaken infectious disease.
Yeah.
But for me, it's the departments. It's
Okay.
so if you've got something wrong with your head, you'll go and see like a neurosurgeon. But I mean, that could quite easily be connected to the gut, but there's no sort of like flow within the whole body system. You've got different departments.
100%.
You know,
Yeah.
you know where I'm going. Like if there's something wrong with your foot, no one's going to naturally think it might be your hips. Do you know what I mean? It's very
Yeah.
There's no holistic. I mean, holistic sounds a bit woo-woo, but it just means a whole body. And I think that's probably where we're going into, because now we've got all the gut-brain connection and
Yeah.
everything. But still, they don't seem to connect it properly in a GP surgery, you know?
No.
Which is like, it's a few years behind. And then I think I talk about this time lag. It's called from bench to bedside. So from the laboratory bench to the bedside, it's about 17 years. So from research that I'm looking into, that you guys are talking about, it's going to be 17 years before it becomes standard care in GPs.
Wow.
So yeah, this is the trouble. It takes so long for it. I mean,
So
I've not
much
got
legislation.
17.
No.
Yes, I've not got 17 years to wait for someone to tell me I actually don't have green tea, because it's going to give you the EBGBs, like next level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, that's the great thing about the internet. One, that everyone tells you to have green tea, but two, that, you know, on the
we can
flip
now-
side, I now know through meeting a friend, Gary Brecker, and his wife having it, just in conversation, it's the comp gene. And that is really important. We communicate it. And I think that's where there's a sort of like mismatch, because doctors and medics, they go through that really long-winded sort of qualification process. And by the time most of the doctors qualify, half of what they've learned is either not right, is wrong, or it's dated.
Changed.
And that's a real shame. So probably AI will help with that, though.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So you mentioned how toxins and chemicals affect the brain. Which swaps have made the biggest difference for you?
So swapping out alcohol for ketones, massive. I was an alcoholic. I am an alcoholic, because once you cross an invisible line, like, you can never drink safely again. So just put that out there. But I wasn't drinking because of trauma or PTSD or anything. I didn't understand why I was drinking. Now I think I've got to the bottom of it, and I was drinking for brain energy. So when you drink alcohol, not only do you boost dopamine, which obviously, me being ADHD, naturally I have low dopamine anyway. It makes me seek out of myself, hence me having to go outside a lot more and, you know, exercise ferociously
Did you know that
more.
you were ADHD at the time?
No. It's only since my son was diagnosed and you go through a tick list. You went,
So is that quite
freeing?
Yeah, healing for you? To look
because
back?
then I can look at the biochemistry and you're like, okay, that makes sense now.
Yeah, you can understand.
So that's
it.
better.
Okay.
So I understand there's no sort of guilt or shame there, because
Yeah.
there's a lot of guilt and shame with
Yeah.
excessive behaviour that's deemed a little bit outside the
Sure.
norm. So yeah, me being a little bit more jumpy than people, or being a bit of talking too fast, it's
you
just
can be a bit more
classic.
compassionate with yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And other people need to as well. You know, they go, God, you're really intense. I'm like, yeah. No shit,
Well,
Sherlock.
they say that to you.
Yeah. Fucking hell, that was like a time. I know. Imagine living here. Living here. But so what I found when I drank white wine in particular, it was the energy molecule in alcohol is called acetate, and it lights my brain up. Very similar to what a ketone does that you get from certain fats.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got something called a medium chain triglyceride, MCT, which you can blend with coffee or matcha if you want. And what it does, it's a very, very small fatty acid molecule that is so small, it avoids the digestive system. It gets into the lymphatic system, where it goes down to the liver, where it's converted into a ketone, gets into the bloodstream and hits the brain. Okay. So it gives me an energy source that isn't acetate, because that'd get me drunk, and it isn't glucose, because that just makes me plummet very fast. Glucose makes me, hence me overeating carbs and stuff like that. So that was the best swap I ever made.
Amazing.
Swapping out acetate for ketones.
I've never heard of that.
That's fabulous. And
really
actually,
interesting.
there's a guy called Dr. Chris Palmer. I think he's at Harvard. Is it Harvard or Yale? One of those anyway. I think it's Harvard. Anyway, he's been doing studies on people in alcohol rehabilitation centres and giving them exogenous ketones and a ketogenic diet. And it's phenomenal. The reduction in withdrawal and the reduction in relapse from people coming off alcohol. Yeah.
Because obviously I've heard of so many benefits of the keto diet, but I didn't know it could affect.
Yeah, it's the brain. I mean, the keto diet's been around for ages because it used to stop. It was used initially to stop children from having epileptic seizures back in the turn of the century, the last century, the 1900s. So it's been studied a lot, and there's a lot of research now coming out about it, helping people with bipolar disorder, schizophrenia. It's to do with that energy molecule, the ketone. So, but you can get it in shots now. Mainly in the States, you've got to ship it over. It's a whole shit show. But
I think Health do a brand.
Yeah, they do.
A
Ketone IQ.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
It tastes disgusting, but I've tried it.
But they've flavoured it now with peach.
Okay.
And I find, little hack, if you put it in fizzy water, you get it a bit more. There's a bit more of an uplift. I'm always playing. I'm always looking for that glass of champagne, but it's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That'll always be. The devil always works within me a little bit.
I love that idea. I'm going to try that.
So what does a typical day of eating look like for you?
Okay, right. Eating. Well, I fat fuel. So, I mean, I count chemicals, not calories. So I've got a very high calorific intake. So I will start the day with a lot of MCT oil in powder form in my tea, my coffee, in my proteins. I've got a lot of fat in there. So I will start the day predominantly fat fueled, and I will start eating maybe when the kids are coming back from school. That's how long I fat fast for.
Wow.
So that's like, what, 3-4 p.m?
Yeah, round about then. But remember, I've been doing this for about 10 years now.
Okay.
So it used to be really hard because my brain said, oh, it's 11 o'clock, you need a snack. So then I would have, like, say, a hard-boiled egg from Pret or something like this, you know. So I would always try and lean into pushing that carbohydrate window back. So what I do is I do have carbs. I'm not completely ketogenic. I have them at night, like about 4 or 5 o'clock, because carbohydrates increase that cozy feeling, that serotonin feeling, which then trips as the sun goes down nicely into melatonin. So you get the nice carb coma.
So what carbs are you
to bed.
having?
So I'll have bread, like potatoes,
general,
so if you meat and 2 veg,
Okay.
you know, like a roast dinner or something. If it's winter with the kids, we had a barbecue the other night, load of sourdough, mopping it all up, the the usual. But I mean, I will get a carb coma, which I don't want at lunchtime. I want that at nighttime. When the TV's on, you're chilling, the lights are going down. You know, that's when it's appropriate for me. I do not do well on high levels of glucose because obviously carbohydrates convert to glucose during the day because I get sleepy.
Okay.
And you don't find that affects you the next day?
No, because I'll hit ketosis probably about 2 o'clock in the morning again because my body's really used to this now. It's completely sort of metabolically flexible.
Okay.
So it used to, I mean, it's taken me a long time to do it. But actually my first book, there's a 2-week reset to help you do this. So if you're eating...
So this is not a diet?
So if you're eating like as 6 meals a day, little and often, like the bloody Eat Well plate tells you to, and like 7 portions of grains every day, all day, every day. If you're eating like that because your doctor said and your dietitian said, and it's not working for you and you're feeling sluggish, you're bloated, you know, you've covered in cellulite and you feel flatline, try my 2-week reset and you just sort of like train the brain to sort of flip it a little bit. You'll still have a load of food, but it'll just be a different type of food, and we will focus on the brain rather than the body. Like feed the brain and the body will follow. You'll lean up and you'll get more energy and you'll stop being a slave to the snacks.
Okay. So you're not a snacker?
No, not anymore. I mean, I can do now and again, but I can put it, I can have a bit.
Okay.
Which is insane because I'm like Square Crisps followed by Monster Munch followed by flipping Mint Aero, Whisper Bar. I mean, we're talking really chavvy
so a
palates.
fat
I'd be exactly the same.
Crisps.
Oh my God, crisps and sweets and
But it's the cycle, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sweet, savoury. I mean,
literally, you have like almost the bite of each.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's like the buffet, the sitting buffet.
Yeah.
100%. So I've managed to just train my brain.
Okay.
I mean, sometimes it goes to shit. Like I said, we have a Chinese takeaway because I don't know, I've seen Ant and Dec on TV and it's sat in my memory. And for some reason, I'm back in 1995 thinking Ant and Dec, Saturday night takeaway.
Okay, association, isn't
it? Yeah. So many cues everywhere. There's so many cues, you know.
100%. It's either the reward or the negative. It's like, I've had a bad day, so I need to treat myself. Or I've had a really good day, so treat myself. It's like there's
the
that
weekend, and now I'm going to treat myself.
But it's all, I know. And it's like, it's really hard to get out of it. So that's why I love like getting high on ketones instead and kombuchas and all this and prattling around with all these fandangled
if you'd
stuff.
heard yourself all these years ago.
No, so what a moron.
I get high on ketones
what a bore. I say, get her out. Yeah.
So on that note, with obviously you're really big on biohacking. What biohacks do you think actually work?
Oh, well, I mean, obviously anything that exposes the body to some level of stress. So from like little spike mats, they're great.
Like the acupressure mats.
Yeah, they're really handy if you can't sleep, you know, and people are like, oh my God, what? But it's amazing how the body will just relax. And it's amazing how tense you are and you don't realise. Another little hack is a lot of people sleep like this and you'll end up tightening up your shoulders. Just when you're in bed tonight, if you're like this, go.
Oh, really? Well, open your hands up.
Yeah, and you'll feel all there, relax. Okay. So many of us sleep like
this. So for people who aren't watching and just
listening.
So
I have my hands all clenched like I was going to punch someone and you just open them. Just have a look tonight. When you're like relaxing, just see what your hands are doing and then just open them a little bit and you'll be really surprised that your muscles behind your shoulders relax. It's bonkers. You're like, oh my God, no wonder I've got my weird funny shoulder.
I'm like, how do I sleep? You know?
Yeah. We're going to be lying there tonight, aren't we?
Yeah, of course we are. Of course we are. Another thing is blue light blocking glasses, great at night. You know, I mean, I love junk TV. I'm embarrassed to say I've just finished watching Maths. Married at First Sight Australia. It's absolutely awful. And for me, it's a great way to just switch off. The girls in the office are watching it. We're there being judgy, absolutely horrific people that we are, watching other people, judging other people. And for me, it is like having a glass of wine. Yeah. But I'll have my blue blocking glasses on. I'll sit on my weird little infrared sauna that cost me 200 quid that I have used every day since lockdown. And I guarantee it saved my marriage several times. Wow. It's a little zippy up thing. You just get them on Amazon. I think it's called Fire Zone.
What, like the blankets?
No, the city up one. I don't like the blankets. I need to sit up.
Okay.
I look ridiculous. And it's right next to my bed in front of the TV with my blue blocking glasses on. And when the kids open the door, they go, oh, for God's sake. And they close it. So you're such a geek. I'm like, shut up.
I love it.
Leave me alone. And for me, that infrared, it's different from a regular sauna because Finnish saunas are fantastic, amazing. I mean, just look at how much it improves cardiovascular, all-cause mortality reduced by about 40% or something crazy like that with a Finnish sauna. But the infrared sauna, it penetrates you with light, and that is a better detox for me because I store a lot of stress in my liver. So if I get wound up or, I don't know, I've got too much on, PTA stuff, emails, I straight away, all that stress, and it goes for everyone, it goes into the liver. And to get rid of it, some people have a glass of wine, that's just going to compound it. I sit in the little infrared sauna, the light goes in and it heats you from the inside out, like a healthy microwave. Microwaves are not healthy, by the way. Well, you know, if I'm trying to explain how it heats you up, and then you'll like sweat from the inside out. And then I'll have a little cool shower and lie on my spike mat, back to Maths. And, you know, it only takes 20 minutes, but it is, and your body craves it.
Yeah.
It really does crave it. And if I've got something on the TV that I'm really into, I'll think about it about 4 p.m, like I would have done a glass of wine, and I go, oh,
but I was going to say that association again, but you've just switched the wine for, so it's like the.
It's a little bit more complicated than wine. Infrared sauna, blue blocking glasses, Maths, kids hours.
No, but you've made the treat of the watching Maths with healthy hacks, and I think that's what's really nice. And I think if you can switch that and do the things that almost feel like a treat or naughty,
and even if it doesn't feel like a treat at the time, eventually it will. It only takes a week or so. A week is nothing to rewire the brain for you the rest of your life.
Yeah.
You know, particularly coming out of alcohol and stuff, people, this mummy wine o'clock is really bad. You know, it's really bad. It skyrockets breast cancer. I think I did a 10K run for breast cancer, and at the end they gave you a glass of pink champagne. Are you fucking joking?
No.
Are you fucking joking me? Piss off. And like, you got boots,
really bad,
you got boots, like, you know, with all their pink ribbon and everything, just giving you bloody awful roll-ons with full of, you know, toxins and everything. I'm like, oh, piss off.
Yeah.
I can't stand all that like worthiness. It's absolute greenwashing,
doesn't
and I
make
hate
sense.
it. Pink
It's
ribbon
really
washing.
sad, isn't it? Because there's people. It's knowing who to blame, isn't it? Because it's not necessarily the people who are handing out it's obviously not the people who are handing out the deodorant, but the people at the top know.
Yeah.
Do you know? And that's
Yeah.
the problem,
Of course
isn't it?
they know.
You know?
Yes, yeah, of course they know. Of course they
So-
know. And it's like,
Yeah.
what can we do except raise awareness and just say, actually,
Yeah.
I'm gonna, well, you can just spend your money elsewhere, because Wild deodorant were really good, but they've just been bought up by Unilever. Now that I used to promote them for free because I don't get any kickbacks. I'm not one of these like 10% sort of. I just like so I can turn on them now.
Okay.
You know, because I didn't do
Wow.
a deal with them, and I'm like, so let's just be very frank that now Unilever have bought Wild deodorant. Are their ingredients going to change? Are they going to put it under a proprietary blend so we don't know what's in it? Because there
under
was no aluminium in there.
Yeah.
What's the fragrance? Do you know what I mean? And we have to be aware of that, and that's where these sort of like interviews and things are really useful. You know, it was in the Grocer magazine, but that's not going to end up in a woman's magazine, is it? No. You know, that's in a business magazine that Unilever bought it for, I don't know, like 2 billion or something. No, like 400 million or something like that. And then, but that should go straight into the bloody women's magazines. Just be careful.
Yeah.
You're going to be putting cheaper
Well,
synthetics.
thank you for sharing this stuff.
Because
you know
Wild
what
were
I
dead
mean?
good.
Yeah, I know.
know.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Back to the drawing board. Back to the drawing board.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
yeah, because those other deodorants don't work. You know, the rock one,
No, and that's the sad thing, isn't it? When you find a more natural deodorant that then works and then they
they've sold out. Well,
Yeah.
good to them. They probably have got a beautiful super yacht now. Have a wonderful time. Getting plenty of vitamin D.
Yeah, there you go.
Not us.
No.
So how do you juggle motherhood, wellness and business without burning out?
I don't.
Or do you?
I don't.
No.
I don't think there's any such thing as balance. And there's not,
No.
one day I'm like in the office, I'm going to be late for pickup. The other day, I'm not needed so much in the office. So no, I don't balance it. It's absolute catastrophe all the time.
Chaos.
Every day it's
Okay, well,
chaos.
that makes us feel
And
better.
that's it. And no, I'm always forgetting stuff. Yeah, my son was
Yeah.
in assembly yesterday. Was I there? Was I fuck? No, I missed that one. So he said, why weren't you there? I said, why can't they just put a letter in the book bag instead of like 44 emails?
I think this.
I mean, I can't even read it. There's like so much stuff coming through. So I'm just going to have to say, do you know what? I can't be everything to
Hold your hands
everyone.
up. Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm really sorry, son. I said, did you have a speaking part? He said, no. So I was like, there you go.
Oh no, it's hard, isn't it? And I think
It's
I
really
heard,
hard.
I think it was on Rochelle Humes' podcast, and they were saying it was Emma Greed, and she was saying it's a lie if people say that they balance it all, but you just compartmentalize it. So one day I'll be an excellent mum, and the other day I'll be an excellent businesswoman, but you can't do it all at the same time. And if someone's saying that you can, then they're lying.
Feminism's great and everything, but it's like we've all been empowered to be CEOs and things like this. And, we have our own income, which is great. And we're not in the house. But the weird thing is we've got this like what's perceived as a hobby when we come home to do the dishwasher, do the PE kit, do the uniform. I mean, do the dishwasher again. And then, and then decide what everyone's having for dinner.
Yeah.
It's like a side hustle.
Yeah.
It's freaking not. It's another job.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
that's what I hate. I find it it's really mundane because the amount of underpants I pick up, and we're not just talking
Well,
little
4
ones.
boys is a lot.
We're talking
Yeah.
large ones from the biggest man in the house. I'm like, thank you.
They'll
And,
never learn
and I
why.
run the dogs, I'm like, God.
Yeah.
But yeah, the house is a wreck. I'll be honest with you. It's a mess. It is a
Well,
mess.
thank you for
Yeah,
being so
that's-
honest about
yeah.
it, honestly, because
It's literally falling apart. And my husband is a builder as
Oh,
well.
really?
But
Yes.
they say that's the case, don't they? That if you have a
Mate.
builder at home, it's like you will
Honest
be.
to God, the TV's skew if and people go, oh my God, your TV's off. I'm like, I know it is.
Can you
'Cause
tell him? Yeah.
He just
They've
does
been at
that.
work
He
all
just
day.
tilts his head.
Yeah,
and
they
I'm
get
like,
home and don't want to do it.
oh yeah, just like he's not interested in our house. I'm like, please knock through that wall. I've asked him to knock through, so we've got a bigger dining room, kitchen, and he's like, no, I think it's really cozy like this. I'm like, there's 6 of us. There's 2 of you who are pushing over 6 foot. There's going to
Yeah.
be 3 soon, and then there's me. And then Matthew decides it's a great time to practice cricket in the kitchen. Like, what are you doing? He's like,
my
it's raining
God.
outside. I'm like, you're doing cricket in the kitchen while I'm cooking with the dogs barking.
Oh my
I'm like, I've got
God.
ADHD, I'm already overstimulated. Shut up.
Yeah, how do you deal with overstimulation?
Calms. Oh, that's what I sell. I've got a company called Will Powders that's got a supplement called Calms,
Okay.
which basically is an amino acid called L-theanine.
Okay.
L-theanine is found in green and black tea. It's the amino acid that makes you go,
I need this.
yes. Yes,
Yeah.
you do actually. You actually do. But it doesn't make you drowsy.
Okay.
So I still want to remain sharp, but not overwhelmed and overstimulated.
So is it good for your like nervous system?
It
keeping
totally
you
calms.
grounded?
It increases GABA. Yeah, grounds you. Yeah,
Okay.
and it kind of like reduces cortisol, so it's good for belly fat as well.
Okay.
But I've always got them in my bag.
Okay.
And if in case of emergency, because it's in capsule form, I'll just open it, put it in fizzy water and drink it.
And do you just feel it kind of
15
like
minutes,
really?
10, 15
Because I've seen you
minutes,
say
yeah.
you've taken it in airports before.
Always.
Yeah.
Why is airport triggers me? I think there's going to be some major disaster, as in I have lost every single passport. And I don't know why, because Matthew's in charge of the passports, but I always think I'm at the wrong airport, going to the wrong place, at the wrong... It's just like very
a lot of
admin
pressure.
intense there for
Yeah.
me. And always it's my kids decide that use the suitcases as like some sort of wheelie thing.
Yeah.
They just
a lot.
behave terribly in airports. And I do too, because I shout and we just look awful.
But
We
at
look
least you got
we've
your calms.
Yeah, at least I've got my calms, but which makes me just not bother what anyone thinks.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's really intense at the airport. I mean,
totally.
we make a holy shit. We always fall out on the airport. We never speak on the plane because we've had a row boarding
That's
because
so
something's
funny.
gone on. You idiot. Oh my God. Now look what, I mean, it's just, you know,
so
it's so
funny.
intense, the airport. But I love going on holiday, but
just take the airport bit out of it. Yeah.
Actually, I'm a really bad traveller. I've discovered this over, I used to like go all over the globe and stuff before I had the kids, but I really miss home, albeit it's falling apart, albeit it's too small for us.
It's
but,
like your safe
like I just
space.
come back from Texas and we're in Los Angeles and I'm in London today, but I can't wait to get back to my house that's like, one of the windows won't shut and there's a tap that keeps dripping, but it's like my cozy
can
space,
just-
particularly with the dogs as well, who are rabid.
You've got dogs as well.
Yeah, two insane
Just to add something else to the
dogs.
mix.
You like the chaos.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't know why, because I
But
moan
it's your
about
chaos, isn't it? So
It's our chaos, yeah.
So you've mentioned that sometimes you might fall a bit off track and have a Chinese takeaway, but what would your approach be to getting back on track?
If you fall off track, support the liver. So get into your little sauna, get into your infrared sauna or sweat, do something, help your body detox. Even sitting in a hot bath with Epsom salts, magnesium, it'd be great. Like for 40 minutes or something, get a podcast on, distract yourself, make yourself, so you can feel the pulse in your head, then have a cold shower and just get the nervous system up and going, get dopamine going again, just get that crap out, you get your lymphatic system going again. That's the best way to do it. I mean, I've got a supplement called Rise and Shine that's like one of our best sellers, because I know people who follow me know that I don't drink anymore, but I totally have sympathy for those who do. I'm like, I know it's getting worse as you get older, the hangovers are worse. But, I developed Rise and Shine with things like molybdenum in it, which is great for alcohol detoxification. NAD is in there. Milk thistle, of course, or the B vitamins, all methylated. So that'll really help fast track your liver detoxify. So I suggest you take 3 capsules before you go out and 3 the morning after.
Okay.
Take some to Mykonos.
We're going on a trip. Yes. So like, but we're not big drinkers. So yeah. So
We don't normally drink, but we will be in Mykonos.
Oh,
Like we'll
okay.
definitely take some of
Because
we're
it
gonna need-
ruins the next day, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
You feel like you've killed the Pope.
Yeah.
It's like the guilt.
Especially
You're like,
when you don't drink a lot anymore.
"Ooh," and then, I mean, I don't know because it's been so
Yeah, of
long, but
course.
even if I've like, if I've had a too late a night or something, I can feel the dark thoughts come in. I get it on day 2 of my period and it's like all those supportive hormones drop and all you feel is cortisol.
Doom.
So you need some of those calms as well, because you'll get the EBGBs. I call it the EBGBs. You know, when you think, oh God, the world's
What
a
did I
horrible
say?
place.
And- yeah.
Oh God,
Yeah,
can you
yeah,
imagine that? Oh no.
Yeah,
Is it going to
that's-
be like that? Oh shit.
No, mate, not to that level.
No.
No, we know what you're talking about, but it's not going
No,
to be.
but are you going to be like that? Are you going to
No,
be
I
like the
won't,
next
not
day?
to that.
What? No. Do you not know?
No.
No,
not
just be
anymore.
like tired. We'll just be tired, won't we? The next day.
No, we used to be like that, but not to that level anymore.
It's awful, isn't it?
Oh, that is the worst.
I mean, I still get it now. We're
What
talking
did you
like,
say?
what did I wonder what happened then that night? And I go,
Yeah,
and
even
I
back
call my-
then.
yeah,
I
I
know.
call my friends because I've still got the same friends, and I'm like, did I dream this or did we? She's like, no, that was true. We did do that. Oh my God, yeah, we did. Why have you reminded me of that?
Still haunting
yeah.
you.
What? It's I was like 24 or something. Oh my
No,
God,
there's
yeah.
no worse feeling. I couldn't.
Oh.
Yeah.
I know.
No.
It's excessive back in the
So,
day.
yeah,
Kitchen
wasn't it?
table
We'll get
vibes.
some
Not
kitchen
the one.
vibes
No,
Club
then.
kitchen, man. Club
No.
kitchen, killer.
It's the worst.
I knew Woo! Oh my God, it's so bad. Alcohol's so bad.
So Rise and Shine is the one to take then if you're still
at it.
Okay.
And I know people are, no judgment, because it's very seductive.
Yeah.
It is really seductive.
You often say it's not your fault, it's your programming. How can women start to reprogram their thinking?
Well, I mean, how would you guys do it? Because you journal and things like that, don't you? I mean, it's very hard, isn't it, to make that switch when it takes a commitment. You know, I mean, I had to, because I had to give up drinking. Something had to change. There had to be something else to lean into. Yeah. And I had to sort of like, God, I had to get a bit spiritual, for want of a better word. And I wasn't, because I was brought up in a household that was really very sort of atheist. But when somebody said, there's a really cool saying actually, which I wish someone had told me when I was trying to become a bit spiritual. The reason why I find spirituality is great is because it makes me let go and go, it's whatever's going to be. So if you're late in traffic, there's a reason for it. You know, there is a reason. So you can reduce those stress levels. They're the little things that could potentially wind me so up that I'd end up drinking. Right. You know, so I just need to check in and just go, okay, this isn't your fault. Move on. There's something greater at play. Now, I think there's a saying. It says, what is it? Religions call it prayer. The spiritualists call it manifestation. The atheists call it placebo effect, and the science community call it quantum physics. And no matter what you call it, they argue about what it's called, but no one argues that it's there. There is an energy there that we can tap into. And if it means getting on your knees, or if it means looking at the energy between two people, having a conversation, that's quantum physics, you know, that just helps you go, okay, there's something that's designed a little bit beyond my comprehension. Yeah. Let's just stop being my own flipping director and just let go and just look outwards a bit more. You know, you're not that important. There's bigger things afoot, you know? Yeah. And that helps me just, okay, I'm going to be a bit late. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry, I'm shit. I'm shit at getting up. I'm shit.
I think it's important.
You know, I've got no time ever. I mean, I always think I've got an extra 5 minutes, and I'm like 47, and I should know by now.
Well, you were early today.
Yeah. So well done. I know, which was quite, because someone was managing me. So otherwise I'd have been tootling around saying, what a lovely day. Let's take a picture. I mean, honestly, my time management's crackers. And after nearly 50 years, I should know that, no, you're going to be 5 minutes this way, but it's me, you know?
Let it go.
Yes, let it go.
Accept it.
And that's where I think maybe putting down a gratitude list is really good. Just say, having a cold shower, like for 10 seconds is something that you could put you're grateful for, because it takes bravery to do that, to do something that instinctively is uncomfortable. It shows a little bit of oomph in the right direction. And speaking of cold showers, by the way, while I'm on it, don't do it every day. Don't do it regularly. So don't do it on a Monday, Wednesday and a Friday, because the body learns routine. It needs to keep guessing if you want the hit of dopamine from the cold exposure. So you got to flip a coin. Otherwise, dopamine, it becomes tolerance, and then you won't get the energizing feel-good factors.
I do it every day.
Flip a coin. Tails, you go in the cold.
But I start warm, and then I do like.
But your body still knows.
Oh, but I love it. I feel like I can't not shower without turning it to. I always have to turn it on cold, but I'll try.
Flip a
coin. Treat yourself to a hot shower.
Okay. Flip a coin. I mean, it's gonna, but it's just you don't know. You just don't know.
Okay, no, it's interesting.
Treat yourself to a hot shower and soap imagine.
We had a neuroscientist on a few weeks ago, and he was saying that that's how social media gets you, because not every reel will trigger. Not every reel, for example, will trigger dopamine.
It's a slot machine, isn't it?
Yeah, that's exactly what he said. Yeah, so it's that same thing. I hadn't thought about that with cold showers.
Yeah. So, but it's so crazy that your body will still know, like every other day as well, or every 3 days. It will learn the pattern. Okay. So you've got to just keep it guessing.
Okay, I will. New little game.
So Davinia, what should women be looking out for when they buy supplements or wellness products?
Third party tested.
Okay.
So that would be good, because obviously if you're going on Amazon, there's a lot of fakies. They literally white label. Oh my God, it's really bad. I don't sell ours on Amazon, so we're on our own website, and then we sell into like smaller businesses and stuff. But yeah, just, I mean, for me, I think the best thing to do is you've got to do word of mouth. You know, your best mates are going to tell you what works and what doesn't. And because it's totally unregulated, I know that my supplements work because obviously I take them.
Yeah.
You know, and
But
I
even
will
like
also
your protein powder, you don't have all the shit that other...
No.
There was a big campaign, wasn't there, with Will Powders, which is saying that the protein powder is actually really bad for you and all the stuff.
Well,
And it's been sold as a health product.
Well, I know, but just how does your body react if you have a load of protein? Normally, it's pea protein based, which has been shipped over from China. God knows what glyphosate rules. Nothing, because there's no regulations, because it's plant based. They don't care because it's not a live animal. So there's no regulations on plant based, and then it's mixed with emulsifiers to make it, you know, sloppy. And obviously you got sucralose in there.
Them. They are so sweet.
They're so sweet, but what does it do to your gut? I mean, you don't have to have a protein company like me to explain what the competition does. You know, it literally makes you bloat.
But the sad thing is, people won't know. So you'll go into Holland Barrett, for example, and believe
God,
that it's, and all that. Yeah. So
it just takes.
It's important for people to know.
Look at the amount of ingredients that are in there. I mean, I think we've got 6 in ours. You know, and it's bone broth based.
Yeah.
Like, it's ancient nutrition. It's literally what every civilization has evolved, from the Aztecs to the Vikings. Everyone, the Egyptians, we've all had everyone's been stewing for a millennia. So the body recognizes it and goes, I know what this is. These are amino acids. These are the building block for life. And we've just made it taste like Mr. Whippy. That's all, because we've got a chav palate.
I love it,
like
have it every
1980s chav palate, and I can't help it because I was raised that way.
No, but
Mr. Whippy's a treat.
you've done
I
it.
know.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to do like other flavors that are more neutral, but I just had to get the milk chocolate and the vanilla nailed because of my sweet tooth, you know. And the kids love it. They love the vanilla one. They have that every morning. Bit of milk out the door, bacon and eggs.
Yeah,
See
what
ya.
are your kind of parenting, like how do you approach parenting stuff and health with boys?
Well, I do what I can.
Yeah.
I do what I can. So it's like meat and 2 veg at night. In the morning, it's bacon, it's eggs, and it's our protein shake with raw milk.
Nice.
And they're fine with that. At school, I give up.
Yeah.
I absolutely
It's like you
give
do
up.
what you can while
Yeah,
you've got control,
exactly. And then Matthew will come back with some friggin' Tang fast sticks or something. What are you doing? I've written 3 books here.
Yeah. Is this like a husband thing?
Yes.
I think ours are like that, and it's like they don't mind giving the.
And I'm like, what are you doing? Because I'm not so worried so much about it's like once, but it's the hijacking of the palate.
Yeah.
That's what I'm bothered about. The hijacking of the neuroreceptors. And he said, don't be stupid. It's just a quick treat. I said, first of all, it's not a treat.
Yeah.
You're not treating anyone except Unilever. And he's like, oh, don't start. And you can imagine. You can imagine.
100%.
And the kids, meanwhile, have had it all and they've gone off, you know. But it's like, God, it's social pressures. It's everywhere. So my kids are like, you know, if they go to a party, they have whatever.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can do. Nothing.
Yeah.
Again, you know, let go. But I do what I can in my little world. Dinner and morning, I can control that, but it's meat and 2 veg.
Yeah.
And
And you hope they learn and go up, you know, as they become
well,
adults.
we're heading into the bulking up phase now.
Okay.
There's a lot of this.
So at least they've got good protein.
Yeah, so they're talking about protein, they're talking about carnivore, they're talking about all that sort of stuff. So yeah, we're heading into that. So which is
I told you so. Yeah.
yeah. I'm like, really? I wrote a book about it. You know?
Exactly.
Oh, it was stupid. You know nothing. You know.
Okay, so what's one ingredient or product that you would never use again?
So it's really hard to avoid veg oil, but I think it's now coming on the radar. I mean, sugar, our bodies understand it. It can detoxify it. You know, the blood sugar goes up and goes down, insulin kicks in and we get rid of it. But this veg oil that was kind of developed, I think about 1920s by Procter & Gamble. It was a soap, a detergent. Okay. So most detergents are made of vegetable oil anyway. I think it's really damaging on the gut because it is a detergent, but it's really good at emulsifying things. Okay. It's been marketed brilliantly as heart healthy, rapeseed oil, sunflower oil. I think that's the ingredient I'd love to leave our food chain more than anything.
And it's in everything.
It's in everything.
Even the things that you don't, it's like you're talking about the protein powders, but it's in everything. Even the things that you don't
even
think
drinks,
it's going to
oat
be.
milk, it's in there.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's the processing of it in itself is pretty bad. And you've got like NHS doctors saying, oh, no, it's really good for you. This heart study says it's great for you. I'm like, I don't know if I can believe any study based on someone's diet because I don't know what I had yesterday. Never mind. They do these studies on people over like 25 years and ask them, I don't know, did they eat meat? And all of a sudden meat's going to give you cancer. I mean, it's absolutely crazy, these studies, that they're really So I kind of like go on what I feel. I know I feel sluggish. I know I feel a bit hungover when I have it, just because I'm super in tune with my body now.
Yeah.
And as an N of one, and knowing a load of women who I speak to on Facebook, it's like we've got 20,000 women on there, they go, yeah, I feel a bit off with it as well. So it can't be thousands of us that are wrong. And like you said, it's in absolutely everything. But it'd be nice to see maybe olive oil coming back into the food chain, and coconut oil, beef tallow, lard, or like the natural fats that we used to have before this massive push in the sort of like late 70s, early 80s for margarine, polyunsaturated, like all that polyunsaturated fatty acids. So I'd love to see that one gone, really.
Yeah.
I think it'll probably take, well, I think that they're doing stuff in America, aren't they? You know, Robert Kennedy's doing a big push on it. So no doubt we'll copy and paste that in 10 years' time. And we'll just like slowly say, oh yeah, butter's back and whatever, you know. But I know what I like. I like butter.
That's
And
what
it tastes
social
good as
media is
well.
helpful
Yeah,
as well,
exactly.
isn't it, you
I
know?
mean, butter tastes good, right?
Butter's
Nothing
the
better.
best.
Lovely.
We go
It's
through
great.
so much
We go through
butter.
so much
Salty-
butter.
salty
It's
butter is
Yeah.
just banging,
salty butter
isn't it?
with a steak, and then you bit of cream, and you've got like that creamy sauce. I mean,
Doesn't
what?
get better, does it?
How can you
but
say
also,
that?
it's mad because it took me a while to not think that that's not healthy.
Yeah, me too.
Do you know, like even when I started
Absolutely.
eating more animal based and having milk and cheese and all these things, there's like a conditioning that we've had that's really unhealthy.
It's mental,
you know?
isn't it?
Yeah.
But since we were this big,
Yeah.
tiny tots. I mean, I remember my mum using Vitalite all the time. She swapped that out, and I went to stay at my grandma's caravan, and she pulled butter out, and my cousin and I went, "Ugh, butter's gross." We're like a petulant pair of prats. And my granny said, "Oh, shut up, you two."
Yeah.
You know, "Oh, we're not eating that. It's going to give us a heart attack."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, my granny was right.
Yeah.
Like everything that was fat free, you know, it's like everything.
Everything.
And now we wouldn't, you know, it's full fat.
Full fat,
always.
everything.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you just have to remember, fat-free, low fat, half fat means high sugar.
Yeah.
And, you know, or definitely processed. It's meddled
And it's
with.
not in its whole state. Yeah, as you
No,
said,
it's
it's processed.
it's been meddled with.
Yeah.
So if you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be?
Don't get married, don't get divorced, don't have, you know. Oh, God. It's all right. When you look back in hindsight now, and I've got to this place where I'm super happy, I've, you know, got my kids, thank God they're healthy. I mean, you're only as happy as your unhappiest kid. I've got one sulking up north at the moment. He's not spoke to me for 24 hours.
No.
We're having words. But, you know, I think patience, really, which is the worst advice to give someone with ADHD.
Yeah.
Have some patience. And you know what? It'll all come right. It'll all make sense. Yeah. But I wouldn't have listened to me. Not for a minute. I said, shut up.
Yes,
Shut up,
you were.
bore.
You had to go through
I
the
wouldn't have done. I would not
Would
have
you
listened to
not?
me. No, I wouldn't have listened to me. No.
It's so funny, isn't it?
It's like I don't listen to anyone now. I'm just like,
Yeah.
no, I know what I'm doing.
That's so funny.
It's funny.
As you've mentioned about describing yourself as a former party girl turned biohacker.
I don't think I've ever described myself as a party girl.
Have you not?
No, that'll be the press.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah,
so
that's
like,
assholes.
yeah.
I mean, it's
okay.
like, hi, I'm a party girl.
Yeah.
I never would say that ever about myself. Hi, my name's Davinia Taylor, I'm a party girl.
I used to be
Yeah.
a party girl. Yeah.
Never, ever would I have said that.
So what was the wake up moment or like the biggest shift that kind of put
Well,
you
for
on
me,
this
it's been really
trajectory?
gradual. It's just this education that I've like now gathered about myself. You know, the whole acetate as an energy molecule was the wine. It was never about the getting drunk. It wasn't about being a party girl.
Yeah.
It was about having energy in my brain, that my brain was starving.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the right chemical know-how. I didn't know anything about, well, we couldn't have saturated fat because that will give you a heart attack. So, of course, I couldn't access. I was having a low-fat diet, meaning low energy for my brain. So, I mean, that was just like a worse situation for someone like me with low brain energy to be having a low-fat diet as well.
Yeah.
And endless grains, you know, and these veg oils as well. I mean, there's a lot of people that say they feel brain fog with it and flatline, you know. We've not even, like, dug into that yet. I don't know if we can do, looking at somebody's brain scan when they're having veg oil. I don't know. We're probably another 20 years away from that.
Exactly.
But I've got an inkling and it's not good for me, so I'm not going to have it.
It's quite scary, isn't it? Thinking back to how we grew up
Yes.
and what
Yeah.
we've had over the years and how we've depleted ourselves. And it's just,
Yeah, no meat.
there's a lot of
No meat.
I didn't have,
no fat.
Yeah.
plant-based, meat-free Mondays.
as well. It's very
no
restricted.
eggs.
Well, I get upset with myself from I was vegan with my second pregnancy because we had a juice bar back in the day. So
But
we've
I
done
was
the
for my
full,
first as well.
Yeah.
For my
and
first.
I look back and I'm so annoyed at myself.
How
for
were you?
her.
How were you meant to know?
I know.
You were told utter propaganda. Utter propaganda. So you were doing it from a place of love, thinking you were nurturing the child, and they told you a fucking lie.
Yeah.
And they have got a lot to answer for putting that guilt on you, and it was nothing to do with you at all. Horror bags.
But it's just sad, isn't it?
Yes.
When I feel like I look back now and I think of the nutrients that both me and my child didn't get. And yet pregnancy is one of the most important times and it just pisses me off.
So
know?
is
But she's like,
but she's
she
fine,
is,
because
but there's certain things.
I would have thought
you
your
just
body,
question.
the baby would have just dragged everything out of your body, like
Well, yeah, I lost
tooth
some
and
bloody
everything.
hair
There
and,
you go.
and my teeth were
So
effed
don't
in,
worry,
yeah.
you paid for it.
Yeah, I know, exactly. Yeah, true. Yeah.
So with my
And that's
third
why you're not
pregnancy, my
vegan
tooth
anymore.
fell
Yeah.
out. Yeah, my tooth fell out and everything.
Yeah. Same.
You know what I mean? So I had to have root canal.
Yeah, same.
The same day of having the baby.
No.
Yes. Waddling
God, that's
down, used to
mad.
go to emergency doctor. I mean, to emergency dentist for root canal.
Yeah, my
and
tooth
now I know
literally
root
cracked.
canal's terrible, so that was a
Yeah.
waste of time. So I got that pulled out as well.
Yeah, I've got
So
one since.
so
same.
don't worry, the baby's absolutely fine. It made sure you were.
Yeah, I know.
Poor soul, like that.
because it depleted you to
I
get to
know,
the
yeah.
But the mental health as well. You must.
But
have
the
been
sad thing is,
exhausted.
isn't it? It's like the future. Yeah, I don't know. It's just
But
so
our
many things that
kids are
people don't
growing
know.
up in a better environment because we have the knowledge, but whereas
Yeah.
our parents didn't, and we grew up
No.
in this, so our kids are way better equipped.
Yeah, I mean,
And
look
will-
at my
will be.
son, like my 9-year-old, he knows what the carnivore diet is. I mean, we're not carnivore completely in the house, but they have meat and 2 veg at night. And
Yeah.
in the morning, they are basically carnivore because they've got eggs, bacon, and they've got, and by the way, bacon will not give you cancer. That's ridiculous. And the nitrates, by the way, nitrates and nitric oxide's really good for you, great for heart health, great for brain health. So when it says nitrate free on the bacon, just
A lot of
ignore.
people are
There's
gonna love
actually
you for that.
there's loads of nitrates in beetroot, and you're not going to say that's going to give you more nitrates in beetroot than in bacon.
Okay.
So before, it's just more marketing bollocks.
There we go.
Interesting.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Oh
Buy
yeah,
that
nitrate
bacon.
nitrate free. I'll pay an extra 15p a pack before you. Yeah, it's bollocks. So yeah, nitric oxide is amazing for longevity. So
Yeah.
and
that's
so
what you
it's-
get through nose.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah. So it's in the same family. So don't worry about nitrate free bloody bacon. Just get high quality bacon and high quality eggs. Give it to your kids, and then they're out the door. And hopefully they don't think about food for hours because they're not, full of Weetabix like I was, or crunchy nut cornflakes. I have 3 bowls of that, no problem. Crunchy nut cornflakes.
Yeah.
So addicting.
100%. But do you think? Because sometimes I think, okay, they're more educated, but then I also worry that there's so many chemicals and plastics, and our food is covered now, our water's effed.
Yeah.
Do you think we're going to be able to biohack ourselves out of this?
Yeah, I mean, I am building an office in Clitheroe, just in the north, that I'm going to put a water system in. I'm going to put an air system in. I'm going to put a certain light system in. And I'm going to just try and champion at least the offices can be like this, and therefore the schools should be like this, Okay. Definitely filters on the water system. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I know.
But, we'll just, like I say, it'll all be flushed out what the Americans are doing because they've got Robert Kennedy in position. So hopefully, I mean, like him or loathe him, whatever, at least it's making people go, hang on, that water does taste a bit chlorine-y.
And they're questioning it
Yes.
now, or kind of
So like the chemtrails and everything, now all of a sudden go, oh yeah, we're going to sort out global warming with
Have you heard about the spraying?
That's what I'm talking about. But they said that was a conspiracy theory. I mentioned it 2 years ago and I got told to put my tin hat back on. And I went, I best not say anything. And now they're going, yeah, aren't we clever? Bill Gates is going to block out the sun. I'm like, shut up, I've got none up north anyway. What are you doing? I'm just going to have even darker clouds.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's weird, isn't it? When you get called a conspiracy nut, you just stay quiet for a couple of years. And then my dad will send me something that's in the mail. I'll go, oh, look at this. I said, yeah, I did mention that over Christmas dinner 2 years ago and you told me to shut up. So,
Funny that.
But I think, it'll be great. It'll be great to have a decent water system. I mean, in the UK, we've got so much bloody rain, right?
Yeah.
Surely to God, we can have the best water in the world because all it does is rain here. Give me
true.
angle. Surely to God, we can have the best beef and lamb in the world because
Yeah.
all it does is rain here and we've got the best farmland and the best soil ever.
Yeah.
Why are we putting things in the sky to then trickle down onto my soil and pollute my soil for my cows and my sheep that I'm then going to feed my kids.
Yeah.
Why is this guy doing
I think
this?
that's what I mean with the future. I'm
it's
obviously
it's
concerned.
completely out of control. We all just have to go and live.
But you can go down a
Miles
rabbit
off.
hole with it, can't you?
Yeah,
Because
and you get
sometimes I'm like, I
really
want to
mad.
be informed, but then I'm also like, I don't want to go down that and almost manifest it. Do you know what I mean? Where you become paranoid.
And then you
because
just want to
it's-
go and live like in the Outer Hebrides.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's exactly what we're all going to try and do.
Yeah.
Do you know, I saw an interesting fact. If you, you know, the population's huge apparently in the globe, but if you built a Manhattan-style city, the whole of the world's population could fit into Alaska, which baffled me.
What?
I know, yeah.
Like high rise.
Yeah. The whole of the world could fit into Alaska in a Manhattan-style city. I was like, wow. Because you always think there's too many people and everything.
That'd be
Yeah.
awful.
Well, it could be awful, yeah. I mean, I know. But I just find that interesting when you see how many people. Anyway,
Yeah.
I just thought I'd give you that fun
Yeah.
fact.
I'll
Whether
have a
it's
little
true
fun
or not, I do
fact,
not know.
yeah.
But that got me
We're
thinking
going to get
about the
some people.
population.
Well, actually, fact checking that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So whatever, but I just
Yeah,
found
exactly.
it interesting to
Yeah.
picture that. Because you just have to think, how
I mean,
big is
Alaska's
the
pretty
planet?
big.
Alaska's pretty big. And then when you fly over the globe and you look down, you know, I flew to Australia. And every time I looked out, it was like, no one there. You know,
It's so
nice,
true.
isn't it? Because
Are
no
we
one
really
there, so that'd be nice there,
overpopulated? Yeah,
you
are we
know?
really overpopulated? Or
I
is it
think-
just,
yeah, is
you
it
know?
just like, yeah, you just
Exactly.
think, I know, but don't put me
Anyway,
in that
let's
time.
not. Yeah, let's not go there.
Cancelled. Until we're
Maybe
not
for
again.
round 2. Yeah. So should we do some quick fire questions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ready for some quick fire?
I don't know.
Okay. What's one supplement you take to a desert island? If you could only take one.
Collagen.
Yeah. Okay.
Collagen.
Yeah.
Actually, no, it would be protein, my protein
Would it?
powder, because
Yeah.
it's a full meal and it's nom nom nom.
Yes.
Yeah. Our collagen doesn't taste of anything. I need a Mr. Whippy on a desert island.
100%. So you've already answered this one. Coffee, yes or no?
Yes.
Your yes.
Big
yeah.
yes. Current favourite biohacking tool?
Oh, I've got a hyperbaric chamber.
Have you? At
You've got
home?
one?
Yeah. I rented one.
No.
Yeah.
So
the
jealous.
dream.
Yes, but I went in it this morning at 6 o'clock this morning,
Yeah.
and because I've got a bit of a cold, because I got it from Asa, who got it from school.
Yeah.
I went in and like the compression in my ears, I'm like, oh my god, my brain's gonna. But I couldn't equalise. But I sort of turned I turned the pressure down a little bit, and I did an hour. But yeah, that's my new thing. And she said to me, she's called Masha McKeever. She said you need to do 40 hours, and you can then increase your telomere length. So your telomeres are, okay, so think of DNA, right? Think of DNA as like a shoelace. And you know at the end of your shoelace, you've got like the sort of toddles,
Yeah.
like the plastic. That's your telomere length. So you can increase that. So as soon as that disappears, then the DNA unravels. So you can increase like that plastic sort of end of the lace so the DNA never unravels. You can increase the telomere length by doing about, she said, between 40 to 90, depending on your current condition, in hours in a hyperbaric chamber. So I think I've done about 30 hours. I was about 45 minutes today because, you know, I was late.
Yeah.
I mean, who does that? I'm like going to be on a train at
Where
7.
do you keep it?
Oh, in my house, like in
Yeah.
what's
Like
meant
what
to be
room?
is the office.
Do you have like a wellness room?
No, it's a mess. It's a mess. And it's got all the shoes in, and it's got a load of rugby stuff, and then it's got everyone's winter coats. It's a mess. And then we've got a hyperbaric shoved in there. But
Amazing.
hey, I know.
Okay.
I'm so jealous. I want one. What's your secret to raising your energy fast?
Nootropics.
Okay.
And ketones. So nootropics, I sell something called brain powders, but just be careful when you're buying other sort of like pre-workouts, so to speak, that they have some L-theanine in. That L-theanine is that calm I was talking to you about. It neutralizes the caffeine a little bit, so it takes the jitters out the caffeine, so you get a cool, calm energy as opposed to a jittery, anxious one. It won't tip you over the edge. So that's our brain powder, and in there I've got macuna purines as well. And macuna purines contain something called L-dopa, which is the precursor to dopamine. So you combine the dopamine with the caffeine and a load of other like B vitamins, etc., and the L-theanine, you'll get that lift in dopamine without any of the jitters.
Amazing.
So good.
Yeah.
I know,
Brain
I need to try that
powder.
one.
Which wellness myth drives you mad?
Oh God, plant-based. Fucking hell. I mean, it's just more access to ultra-processed food. It's greenwashing.
it's
I mean, I'll
mad,
go
isn't
into WH Smith and it's like all plant-based and gorgeous and green packaging. So seductive. And you just turn it around and you just see
Look at the
the
ingredients.
chemical shitstorm that's on the back, and from busy mums and teenagers who don't know, who haven't been through the shit that we've been through and how nasty it is. They're just buying into it and they think they're making a really wise decision. I'm paying a premium. And, I think the plant-based thing was awful and still is.
Yeah, totally agree.
And I can't even abide by vegan pets. Awful. The dogs, the cancer risk increased by 90% if you've got them on kibble.
No.
Yeah, there's a great, the holistic vet. I've interviewed him before and he is like, kibble is a killer. And you can literally reverse cancer in dogs and extend their lives. Get the dogs off the kibble. And cats are carnivore, by the way.
Okay.
Cats are carnivore, but dogs have a little bit of, but literally kibble's killing them.
That's mad, isn't
I know. And even vets promote it, of course. Because the data says,
money,
of course,
yeah,
as
money,
if
isn't it?
dogs were going to go and dig up a carrot and stew it. Oh, come on. Come on.
Stew it.
What's your biggest motivator right now?
Gosh. Reversing my biological clock. So I've found out that I'm 20. Although I feel 80 today.
Yeah.
I feel 80 today with this snotty cold. However, I did read that you've got to be ill at least once a year to keep your immune system guessing. So this is my
your
once a
term.
year and I'm not getting ill
Slot
throughout.
machine moment of
yes,
your
yeah,
immune
that is
system.
it. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, just keeping my biological age down, I think.
Nice.
Staying,
I mean, your skin
resilient.
is
I
insane.
was going to
thank
ask
you.
at the end, what is the secret? So let's do it on here because
Well, I don't have any Botox or fillers or anything like that. None of that.
But
I
that
just have loads of collagen.
do you?
Yeah.
So how much do you take?
Oh, quite a bit. I've got a warehouse full of it. So this is what I did it for.
You add it to your coffee.
I add it to my coffee. I'll add it to my drinks. I add it to the kids' drinks.
Yeah,
They don't know. I add it to their lasagna if I'm doing it. I know Dolmio sauce.
So you'll
'cause I
add it
can't
in
be
like
arsed.
cooking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's because it's peptides. It
Yeah,
won't destroy.
yeah.
So don't worry about that. But yeah, a lot of collagen. Let's see. I think the sauna helps as well with skin. You're constantly detoxing.
Do you use red light?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
do
you say you
use
do the
red
red
light,
light,
but I don't, I just go outside a hell of a lot.
Okay.
And I don't use SPF or anything. No, I just go outside like rain or shine.
Your skin is honestly
Right.
glowing.
Whatever you're doing.
Considering
it's,
you've got a cold, you look
working.
My husband said to me, "Oh, good, I'm pleased you're going because you're going to do that cold face that you do." I go, "Ugh." He said, and the voice as well. He goes, "I hate that cold. I'm not well."
I think guys, when they do that, is way worse.
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
Like, man
he's
flu
rubbish.
is the worst.
I put him to bed, but I am
outside.
not a very good patient. But he says I've got this face. I look at him and he goes, "Oh no, not that."
Well, you've done so well today, considering you wouldn't
You
know.
brought the energy.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, so last one. Which book has impacted your life the most?
Oh, well, when I was going through my spiritual bit, I read Shantram and all that. And then I decided to get on a plane to go to India, but I hadn't filled in the visa, so I got turned back. So that was one. So that was a big impact on me. But otherwise, I'll tell you what was a really good one. Born to Run, which I read before I did my first London Marathon.
Oh.
That was a really good one. I'd recommend that. And I really like that book actually, Born to Run. It's really insightful about the whole how the body is meant to run, and because I thought I couldn't run.
Yes,
and of course I run every day now, and it keeps me alive and it keeps me sane. So yeah, Born to Run was a really good one. I enjoyed it, and it got me through the marathon because I kept thinking, right, come on, run.
Well, your dad was saying that. I saw him briefly yesterday, and he runs ultras.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he retired at 50 and then just became,
Yeah.
didn't run and
Yeah.
just became this amazing runner.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But he was saying it's so interesting how your mind can overcome what your body thinks it can do.
Well,
It's all in
absolutely.
the
I mean, I'm
mind.
going to go and see Bryony Gordon next week, and she's just finished the marathon. And, she's a larger lady and everything, but it just shows that you don't have to be this tiny little thing that sprints across a finish line. She's like, done like it in 5 hours. It just shows what the body can run for 5 hours nonstop in her underwear, laughing her head off. And, and she's not your typical athlete, but she runs all the time. And that's really inspiring. And I think Joe Wicks did a slow run as well. He did a slow marathon.
Oh, did he?
Because we are all born to run. And the amount of people say to me, oh, I can't run.
Yeah, that's what I think.
And of course you can. You've actually physically designed to run. Read that book.
I'm going to now.
And then the next minute she'll be just beating you down.
Literally,
Come on, keep up. We're going to Snowdonia.
Literally. Oh, I love that. Honestly, yeah, we're going to have to wrap it up now, Davinia.
Fabulous.
But thank you so much for your time today and all your wisdom and knowledge. It's been really, really
Well, thanks for having me.
interesting.
Thank you for having me very much. It's been lovely.
And, where can everyone find you?
Oh, God, on a train. Let's see. At Davinia Taylor is my Instagram, but I've got a company called willpowders.com, and that's got loads of recipes and actual, just not my story, but other people's sort of like hacks and everything, because we're all slightly different ideas on how to use my products and other products as well. Like Jason's sourdough, for example. That features heavily in my diet, I'm afraid.
No, but that's the best sourdough, isn't it?
Yeah, in the supermarket it is, because they look after the grains. So see, it's all interesting. It's all like, literally little tidbits of information, just make life easier, and we should share it.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much again.
Thank you.
You're welcome.